Mount Kailash rises in the remote western reaches of the Himalayas, perfectly shaped, almost unnatural in symmetry, as if it was carved rather than formed. Unlike every other peak of similar height, it is not conquered, not mapped by climbers, not marked by flags or routes. It stands untouched, not because it is impossible, but because no one is allowed to try. No one. For centuries, this mountain has been considered sacred by multiple traditions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. It is believed to be the dwelling place of divine forces, a center point of spiritual energy, a place where the boundary between the physical world and something beyond becomes thin. Pilgrims travel thousands of miles not to climb it, but to walk around it. A ritual known as the Kora, where each step is taken with intention, humility, and silence. Because to ascend is not seen as achievement, it is seen as violation. Violation. And in a world where every mountain is eventually conquered, where human ambition pushes into every untouched space, Mount Kailash remains an exception, a boundary that people have chosen not to cross. That alone should make you pause, because this is not about ability, it's about something deeper, something that has held firm against centuries of human ambition. There have been attempts, not many, but enough to raise questions. In the early 20th century, explorers considered it, drawn by the same instinct that drives climbers toward every untouched peak. But each time, something stopped them. Not always visibly, not always dramatically. Sometimes it was sudden illness, sometimes disorientation, sometimes an overwhelming sense that they should not continue. One of the most well-known cases involved a Russian expedition that reported unusual physical effects, accelerated fatigue, unexplained anxiety, and a sense of being watched. Not by something seen, but something felt. There are also accounts, unverified but persistent, of individuals who attempted to climb and returned with stories of time distortion, hair turning gray faster than expected, nails growing at unnatural rates, as if time itself behaved differently near the mountain. Whether these stories are literal or symbolic is almost irrelevant, because the result is the same. No one continues. Even modern authorities, including the government of China, have restricted climbing, reinforcing what tradition has already established. The message is consistent across cultures, across time. This is not a place to conquer. And when something remains untouched, not by force, but by agreement, it suggests a deeper reason. According to ancient belief, Mount Kailash is not just a mountain, it is the axis of the world. In Hinduism, it is said to be the home of Shiva, the destroyer and transformer, seated in eternal meditation at its summit. In Buddhism, it is associated with Mount Meru, the cosmic center of all existence, and in Jainism, it is where the first enlightened being achieved liberation. Different traditions, same conclusion. This place is not ordinary. One legend speaks of a monk who attempted to reach the summit through spiritual means, not physical climbing. After years of meditation, he is said to have reached a state where he could ascend, but chose not to. Because the realization was not about reaching the top, it was about understanding why it should not be reached. That's the core of the myth. The mountain represents something beyond human ambition. It stands as a reminder that not everything is meant to be taken, measured, or conquered. And in a world driven by progress, speed, and achievement, that idea feels almost foreign. But that's what gives the mountain its power. It forces restraint. It demands respect. and it challenges the assumption that every boundary exists to be broken. So why does no one climb Mount Kailash? It's not just religion. It's not just fear. It's not even the stories. It's the combination of all of it: history, belief, experience, and an unspoken understanding that some places carry weight beyond explanation. Because once something is treated as sacred for long enough, it stops being about proof. It becomes about respect. And that's something modern thinking often ignores. We've built a world where everything is explored, everything is tested, everything is pushed to its limit. But Mount Kailash remains a line that hasn't been crossed. Not because it can't be, but because it shouldn't be. Shouldn't. And maybe that's the real reason people don't climb it. Not because they're afraid of what will happen, but because, deep down, they understand what it represents. A limit. A boundary. A reminder that not everything in life is meant to be conquered. And in a world that constantly tells you to take more, go further, and push harder, this mountain stands still, untouched, unclaimed, unchallenged. Not because no one tried, but because something about it makes people stop.